All right, hey church, good afternoon. What's up? Again, coming to you from Studio Tyler. It's Tyler's studio
Hey, on the
today.
studio,
Well,
nice.
you do match our background
Nice.
today. You
Yeah.
picked the right color shirt today
Coordinated.
to go through our show today. We are just going to update you on a few things, talk about a few things, kind of let you know what's up. And first thing is we are winding down August, so this is kind of the last show of August, but we have good news today. September has been programmed and planned out, and not going to give everything away, but just to say there are some dynamic duos coming in September to live with and what's up. So same content schedule, Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then obviously services on Sundays.
Really hoping for a Justin and Carrie combo.
Justin and
package.
Carrie combo.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that would be
you're gonna
that would be a
have
really
to-
fun duo to deal with.
I think there'll be a lot of people tuning in to watch that. There will be some faces that you haven't seen before, so that's about all we're going to let you know.
Ever or just on the show?
Maybe both.
Who
I
is
don't know.
this person? Where did they come
Where
from?
did they find that person at? They're really desperate. So just wanted to put that out there, let you guys know that more shows and more discussion coming in September, and with some new people joining us. And so we're really excited. It's going to be a fun month to sit down and talk through things and news and events and scripture and all those kind of things. So it should be a lot of fun in September. We're excited to get going with that. Man, it is hot outside.
Yeah. It's good.
just
Outdoor sauna.
It's really, really hot outside. We were out there earlier working on the internet, and realized that it is just way too hot to be outside doing a whole lot of anything right now. Speaking of outside, we have a new covered patio area.
Yes, just off of the student building.
Right
On
right
the back
outside
little
of the
patio.
studio here. It's on the really the left side of the building as you're walking out
really
to
nice.
it. About a 16 by 20 covered patio area that we're thinking through how do we kind of create some outdoor environments for groups and for our church family to utilize and stuff, kind of following the COVID protocols and that kind of thing. And so we got that set up.
Yeah, trying to create as many opportunities as you can to be able to gather in person while also honoring the appropriate distancing and things like that.
Yeah. So
it's a pretty sweet little setup.
Right, and it's going to be nice, especially if you're going to, if you meet out there during the evening hours and stuff, as the sun's kind of going down. It will definitely provide nice shade, and it does cut the temperature probably about 10 degrees when you're underneath of it. So we're excited to let you guys know about that. And so Tyler will be sending some information out to group leaders about how they can reserve that space for meetings and what they need to do for that. So be on the lookout. And if you're not in a group and you want to be in a group, let Tyler know. Email Pastor Tyler or call and let him know, and he'll help connect you to a group, right?
Get connected from a distance.
Connected from a distance. So, we're excited for that. Hopefully some more patio and outdoor spaces will become available over the next couple of months and into next spring and stuff. So kind of looking at that as well. So this Sunday, we kick off a brand new series. Tyler, you want to tell us a little bit more?
Yeah, we're getting into a really fun book called the Book of James. It's a really
Fun is a unique way to describe it.
Yeah.
I think.
it's very practical, very kind of punch you in the face kind of a book. It's
If
really,
you think punch you in the face is practical, then yes,
I do.
we're
I
stepping in the right
absolutely-
direction. So
yeah, it's a very intense book that does not hold back in its expression of what it means to live out the Christian life and what that looks like and how we live. And so it's a really good, deals a lot with stuff that they're kind of prevalent in society all the time, but particularly prevalent now with how we talk and the things that we say to each other and stuff like that being big themes throughout that.
Right.
So it's a big kind of controversial book, but it's really good. Very
controversial book in what way?
Well, there's
kind
a
of put you on the spot today.
Yeah,
since
there's a
you're
lot of
kicking
people,
off.
especially your early historians, that did not believe that James should be included in Scripture. Martin Luther called it a letter of straw. He was found it particularly odious, and so there's just a lot of minds that didn't really get it. More recently, there's been some sort of understandings that have come to what its purpose and value, but there was a lot of tension around whether or not it belonged in the Bible for a long time, because it seemed to say different things than what Paul says.
So that's just going to be a fun series.
Yes, it's a great book.
A series that we're going to really spend our time, and we're digging into this book all through the fall. It's going to take us into the end of November, and then in December we'll kick off our Christmas series. Right now it's hard to even think that far in advance. You just trying to kind of focus one day at a time. But this book is going to be I think challenging is kind of challenging, but also shaping. Right, hoping it really moves within us to maybe work on some areas of our lives, and especially within our speech and the way we talk to one another and the things that we say, having that Christ filter in our minds before words come out. But hopefully it's shaping for all of us, and I'm excited to get started, and I don't want you to give away too much of the weekend, but should be a great
spoilers.
series. We are looking at verses 1 through 4 in James chapter 1, so
it's a lot of verses.
It's a lot of verses for Tyler in 25 minutes. So.
The original plan was to do James 1:1 and just unpack the first verse for.
And then he was
minutes.
going to give me 2 through like 18, and so we
That's
forced
fair.
him to take the first 4 and give me 5 through like 18. So should be good. I'm really excited to kick it off. I had the privilege of teaching through this series, teaching through the book of James years ago, and we really dove into it then as well. And I'm excited to see as I go back through it and prep and study and read how God kind of shows me different things and highlights different things, which is one of the great things about studying Scripture is.
Do you find that I seem to find that the second pass through teaching through a book is almost more educating and building than the first time?
I would agree. I would agree. I've done a couple books twice since being in this position, and the second time I felt like God led us to do that book just for me, and not necessarily for those who were going to hear what he had to say, but really for me, because I missed so many things, or that's probably what I find the most fun is that when I go through the things that jump out that didn't jump out the first time. I'm
all these connections you didn't link together.
Yeah, I'm a writer,
and
I highlight stuff in the Bible, and so I as I go back through it, I can see what how God spoke to me through different verses and different words, and because I'll have notes wrote around those, and so as I've started to prep for this series, those words aren't jumping out off the page as much as the other words within certain verses and passages. And so it's just really cool. And I don't have enough space in my Bible now to write any more notes, so it's now in my journal. But
do you ever feel like the old you was really like when you look back at, you're like, here's what I do, like, why did I go here the first time? This doesn't even make sense. And then this is like, how did I miss this? And like, gosh, I was really stupid.
Yeah, I feel like that every day, actually. It doesn't necessarily mean when I'm prepping for a sermon. I look back and I'm like, why was I so dumb?
I've said this about me 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, I was thinking about that about you about 5 minutes ago too. So good series kicking off this week as we get into the fall. Praying for those teachers and school as school gets ready to kick back off. Praying for teachers and administrators and parents and students across the board. There's just a lot of, I think, unknowns right now still to be determined, and praying for just protection, for wisdom, for all of that. Certainly praying for those in the path of this hurricane that now has hit down in the Gulf, and just a lot of things going on. A lot of things for us to spend time, out of our day and pause and say a prayer and ask God for His presence and just for His work to continue to be done, and for hands and feet. Last thing before we kind of finish up, we've been working on ways to, as we've been going through isolation and quarantine, and everybody's kind of been going online with Zoom meetings and doing a lot more stuff on the internet or digitally and that kind of thing. And one of the things that we have been working on is trying to take some of our hard copy pieces of literature or cards or those types of things and put them online and stuff. And so if you remember when you used to come into the auditorium, feels like so long ago at this point, we had little information kiosks set up, and they had cards on them that looked like this. Well, these cards are now going to be available digitally through our website and stuff. And so tomorrow they'll be up and running on our website. So if there's a prayer request or a praise, or you're like, hey, I want to get plugged into a group or into serving or those types of things. And I know some of those things are still not back in full function yet, but they'll be back. And so if you need one of these cards, make sure you go out to the website, carolinaforce.org, and you'll find those out there, and you can click on them, and it's going to come up and into a form, and you'll be able to fill it out, and it gets emailed off to staff and gets taken care of.
Yeah, so the nice thing with the cards being digital is they're much more accessible. You don't have to worry about being in the building or thinking of it while you're here. If you remember something you want to fill out, or you realize you want to get connected to something at home, you can access it anytime, which makes that really handy. Additionally, with a paper card, that can get lost. It gets handed off to. You give it to me, and I'm supposed to give it to Carrie, and the odds of that happening are low. So
we learned, don't give Tyler anything to be given to someone else. Just try to get it to that person yourself.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm really bad at that phone tag game, whether it's with cards or with notes. But the paper, which with it being digital, when it gets filled out, it goes into workflow, and there's a lot fewer cracks for it to fall through. But I think the best feature of the digital is we don't have to contend with handwriting anymore. With that, you're not trying to figure out if it's the number 7 or the letter G or an @ sign. You can just read it as it's typed, because sometimes handwriting is very confusing, and you end up calling the wrong number that's not the person that, because you couldn't read one of the numbers right, or you send an email to 14 different variations of it, and none of them go to the actual person.
So, and not to give everybody a bad rap for their handwriting.
No, it's mostly just me.
It's really just you.
My handwriting.
We make Tyler type everything out that he shares with staff. He can't give anything that's written by hand. Some people are just trying to write really fast, and sometimes it's just hard to read what they put down, and so that definitely will help with that. We're just trying to utilize some of the technology in the digital aspect with some of these things, so people can continue to share things with us, but we're not passing, cards and all that kind of stuff around. So more of that to come in the future for sure. So again, guys, we're excited. There's a lot of things coming up. September is going to be a really fun month as we wrap up August. It's hard to believe that August is done, and we're moving into September. Some dynamic duos coming with our content with What's Up and Live With, so make sure you're on the lookout for that. We kick off
the return of Let's Talk About It
Tuesday. I can never say it right. Let's talk about it. I can't say it. I'm not even going to try. It's just I'm not even allowed to be on the show anymore. Actually, so why'd you bring that up? I thought
an apostrophe would be so hard to say.
I don't know. I'm going to work on it, though. I'm going to get better. So we kick off James this week. So we're a lot of things coming up.